Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. If you've already seen one of my videos, welcome back. If you're new here, I guess welcome. So today I wanted to make a video about picking a right college major or changing college majors. So I know a lot of you are in the process of applying to colleges. You might have applied to some, you might have a few to go, and you're kind of like, did I choose the right major? Or you might be finished with your maybe first or third semester of college, or just somewhere within that area, like that range of whenever, and you're maybe thinking about changing your major, and so I wanted to provide some tips because I actually did change my major, and I wanted to do a little story time about that as well, because I don't know, it's like kind of good to know that somebody else has been in your position and like it's fine to change your major, and I think there's a lot of negative stigma around that. So I wanted to start off, I just wanted to do a video like that and start off by saying that, but I have like a little sheet of notes, so if I look down at all, that's just what I'm looking at. So yeah, I just wanted to give some advice, and I hope to help anybody who might be struggling with the same situation I was in a few years ago. So flashback to freshman orientation, June 2016. Actually, no, let's my college search. My sophomore year of high school, I was one of those people who was really into it. I wanted to figure out my future. I'm like a futurist person, like that's one of my personality, I guess, like strength things. I like to plan ahead and figure out what the future can be. So this is like right up my alley, like planning my college, like it's an awesome thing. And I was super excited about it. But I wasn't sure what I wanted to major in, and everyone I felt like around me was having these epiphanies, like I'm gonna do biology or engineering or radio, television, film, like all these cool majors, and I was just sitting there like, okay. And I never really knew what I wanted to do, but I'd always watched a ton of shows about doctors and emergency rooms, so in my head I was like, I like watching these shows, I find this interesting, I'm gonna be an emergency room doctor. So I applied to all my colleges as either biology or human biology. Human biology just has like, I think, a little more of like a psychology aspect to it. And then I applied one college as a biology and criminology double major. So that's like kind of the route that I thought I wanted to go towards, because you also apply in the very beginning of your senior year. So at that time I hadn't taken like calculus, and I'd taken physics and chemistry, like AP, and I hated those classes. But like I was like, oh, like it's 4 years, I can push through it, like it's fine. But then I took biology and calculus my senior year. Biology was okay. I am awful at calculus. I was always a really good math student, and for some reason calculus just wouldn't catch on for me. And I think that's like a normal thing for people. I've heard a lot that you're either strong in pre-cal or calculus. I was really strong in pre-cal, not strong in calculus. So I was like, can I do 4 more years of this plus med school and all of this? So I was really like reevaluating my choices. And then I went to this program that UT held in February. So I was kind of already like, had already narrowed down a lot of my school choices, and UT was up there. I ended up going there, if you didn't know that already. But yeah, so UT had a Be a Longhorn Day, I think is what it was called. And so I went there, and I did a campus tour, and I was just like kind of rethinking biology. Like I was saying I was a biology major, but I wasn't like, I wasn't satisfied. Like it wasn't like, yes, like this is me. I was like, oh yeah, like I applied under biology. But then I kind of had like thought about communications a little bit. Whenever I was on the Facebook page, I saw all these people getting into cool majors like advertising, public relations, radio, television, film, human relations, and I was like, what is this? And so I had done some research into the communications school already. And then at this day, I saw that there was a little seminar you could go to that was presented by the College of Communication people, and I was like, okay, bet, like I'm gonna go to that. So I dragged my parents to it, and it was like during that like time that I realized I think communications is where I want to be. So I ended up trying to switch my major initially from biology to undeclared communications, because I didn't know what I wanted to do within that field. I just knew that I wanted to go towards comm, but I ended up getting rejected because the college had already like filled its maximum for that year. So that kind of sucked. But then I was still biology, still had a major which I was content with, and so then I went to orientation. And then my whole goal of orientation was to sign up for more communications-based classes and broad classes rather than classes in like the science field, because I knew I wasn't going to stay in there. And so I was like, there's no point in taking these hard level classes that I know I'm not going to be good at, that I know I'm not passionate about. And so I ended up going to my advisor, telling him what I wanted to do, and then they told me, oh, if you're in College of Natural Sciences, you need to take, like, you pretty much have to take FIG, which is like, it's like this cluster of classes that you're required to do at UT. If you have any questions on that, like, comment down below. I was a FIG mentor, so I kind of know some about that. But pretty much in that FIG, I got stuck in it, and I couldn't change it. And it had chemistry and calculus in it. So I was fighting it, and they were like, oh, well, it will go through your science credits. Well, in high school, I'd already taken 5 AP science classes, so I was almost done with all my science credit that I needed for the core curriculum. Communications doesn't require science. So I was like, okay, like, that's just going to be a waste of time of me taking hard classes that I don't need. And because chemistry was also in my FIG and calculus. So I was like, I'm going to be taking college level calculus whenever I need to be taking statistics. College level chemistry that I don't need, like, for science majors too, and science for biology, or biology for science majors as well, which is another thing that I didn't need. So I ended up fighting, like, not like fighting, but just like arguing with my actual advisor. And then there was also peer advisors, and then there was late night peer advisors. So I had like these arguments because I needed help, and they were just telling me to take this FIG anyway because biology was a good major, but they weren't really helping me that much. And so then finally I emailed my advisor, and I was like, I don't think I want to do biology. What should I do? And so he told me to visit the School of Undergraduate Studies, which is pretty much undeclared. So all my life I had heard never go undeclared. And so there was this giant like negative stigma around it for some reason. And I was like, oh, like, people are going to think badly of me. Like, I don't know. I was terrified. And I also like cared way too much about what other people thought, because I was like, oh, I need to stop saying like so much. I'm sorry. But I was thinking to myself, people are going to, I don't know, for some reason I thought people were going to think less of me if I was undeclared. I don't know why, but at that time, that's what I thought. And so I did go undeclared because that's what was best for me. I could get a lot of my core curriculum done. I could take the classes that I needed to explore communications, and I could take my statistics class that I needed. And it was just like so much weight like lifted off of me knowing that I could do that. But at the same time, I was like, oh, like, will I be okay? But UT has a phenomenal like College of Undergraduate Studies. It's actually its own school. So I knew that I was in good hands. So I went ahead, made the transition, and I was able to explore my majors, whatever I was interested in, take classes in those. And I also had great services provided for me. And so that's kind of how I ended up in communications. I'm now a public relations major. I was able to talk to advisors and take classes and figure out exactly where I needed to be. So that's like a story of how I changed my major, and I'm incredibly happy with where I am now. And in high school, I didn't even know public relations was a major. Communications in general, I think, has a bad stigma that isn't necessarily warranted, especially at UT. So in case you didn't know, it's like UT, the Moody College of Communication, has pretty much everybody who wants to get a job after college from Moody, like they don't want to go to grad school or travel for a year or anything, they get a job. We have the top ranked advertising program in the nation, a top 10 film school. Our PR program is top 5. Like, it's such a good program. And everybody just kind of like bashes communications, I feel like. And so if you're interested in communications, explore it. It's changed my life. It's made me so much happier, and I can finally like kind of see a career path that I want to go towards. It's giving me so many valuable skills. Like, I've learned how to write press releases, write in a more concise manner, how to manage media budgets, how to build an entire media plan from start to finish for a company. And I'm only in my first semester of I just finished my first semester of my junior year. And there's so many possibilities that it's opened up for me. So yeah, that's like my story. This is what I wish I would have known before going into college and while I was kind of changing my major in that process, and some tips. So, number 1, your major does not equal your career. So this is something that I think is like a wide misconception. Everyone thinks, oh, like, I need to be biology if I want to be a doctor. You can do pre-med requirements without being a biology major or a science major. I know people who are English majors who are going pre-med, and business majors. So you don't have to go pre-med, pre-health, or you don't have to be in a science major to go pre-health. Additionally, like, I know people who are history majors who have gone to work for cell phone companies. There's a lot of people who go biology or science and then end up working at ad agencies. It's a lot more about the skills that you obtain in college rather than your major. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. So my biggest advice would be follow your passions. Don't think about a career end goal, because careers are constantly changing. And then so that goes to my next tip. Many careers are not yet invented. So it's like weird to think about, but because of the way that the world is changing so fast with updated technology and social media and everything, there are jobs popping up every single day. And so it's estimated by a lot of experts that in 10 years, the job that you like come in like to wanting to do, like, that doesn't make sense. So it's estimated that the job that you have in 10 years, that's what it is, probably won't have even existed yet, because it's changing so fast. So make sure that with your major, you're following something that you're passionate about, and you're obtaining the skills that you can use to maybe one day have a job that you don't even know about yet. So I guess, so I already kind of covered the whole, you don't have to be a science major to go pre-health. Yeah, just follow that, because it's like a hard, like, I don't know, I don't want to discourage anybody from going pre-health. If you want to go pre-health, do it. But a lot of people end up struggling in their science classes, or just having a change of heart, because you learn so many more careers whenever you're in college. Like, in high school, your view is like this big, and then at college it's like, wow, like, you kind of discover so much. So if you're passionate about English or business or communications, but you're like, oh, I kind of want to go pre-med, you can do that. You have time. You might have to take on like an extra class or two over the summer, but that way you're not missing out on an opportunity to follow your passion or go pre-health. So that's like kind of my advice for that. And that like kind of goes into my next one. Follow your passions and what you're good at. So this is like one thing that I wish that I would have paid more attention to. I loved thinking about pitching ideas to people and talking to people and communicating. And so whenever I applied to biology, I was like, if I don't end up being an ER doctor, there isn't a single other thing that I want to do. I also hated all the classes that like I had to take to get that degree. I was bad at them. They like gave me like this really anxious feeling just thinking about having to do that, because that isn't what I was meant to do. So follow like what you're passionate about, and then that will kind of lead you into a good major of your choosing. So my next one is do what you want to do. So this is a big problem that I think I realized. I worked as an orientation advisor for 2 years with the College of Undergraduate Studies. So the people that we get here in that college, they're either people who didn't get into their first choice major, or they're truly lost. And so a big reason for this is because their parents or like someone they know, or their teachers or their friends kind of push them into a major that they didn't want to do. There's so many people who applied to be like a pre-med major and an engineering major because that's what they thought that they were supposed to do. That's like kind of that same position I was in. I thought that I should be a science major because I was kind of near the top of my class, and I thought that was what was expected of me. Whenever like business and communication majors and all those are just as prestigious in their own ways. So don't let other people kind of like get in your mind. Do what you want to do, because at the end of the day, it's your major, it's your future, it's what you're going to be spending at least 4 years doing a lot of hard studying on, and it's what's going to lead you to your future career. So there are many resources to help you. That's my next tip. I did not know about this. I didn't know about career services or any of these resources that college have in place for you to help you out. So whenever I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I scheduled an appointment with a career counselor, and they sat me down. They're like, okay, what do you want to do? And then they said, you should look at these majors for that. Like this is what you seem interested in. Check these out. And then that got me down to advertising, public relations, radio, television, film, and arts and entertainment technologies. So then I was down to like 4 majors that I could really look into and figure out what I liked from those. And then if I didn't choose one of those, then I could take what I liked about those majors and then go back and find another major that had that was maybe a little bit more to my fitting. And so, let's see. So it's okay to switch majors. People don't talk about this, but there's somewhere between like 30 to 50 people who will, 50% of people who will change their major sometime throughout college, even change entire schools. I know so many people who have started as biology or like similar majors who may have switched to public health or like similar like other science majors, or even I even have a friend who went from like a math major to a public relations major. It's completely fine to change your major, and that goes into my next tip. Like, so many people don't know what they want to do. I know this is like something that a lot of people say, like, oh, like nobody really knows what they want to do, but you're like, yeah, you're saying that to make me feel better. No, like, people don't know. Everybody's lost, and we all roast each other about it. We all make jokes about it. Nobody really knows what they want to do, and everyone's still like trying to discover that and what they're passionate about and what they want to major in. So if you feel lost, just know like pretty much everybody is with you. I've rarely met a person who hasn't encountered some confusion, whether that be wanting to change their career path or their major. There's just like so many things that come into account. Yeah, so nobody really knows what they're doing. So let's see what my next one is. So, okay, don't choose a major because it's popular. I know it's like a weird thing, like, oh, I would never do that. Like, you would be surprised. So many people choose computer science or business or electrical and computer engineering because they heard that those are good majors to go into and those are popular. I'm just going to throw out like a quick fact out there. So 50% of people who apply to UT apply under 5 majors. They apply under biology, business, mechanical engineering, computer science, or computer and electrical engineering, because that's what they've heard is like the popular or good major to apply to, and those are very good majors to apply to. But know that if you're applying to those, apply because that's what you're passionate about, not because it's what you heard that you should do. So my next one is do research into all majors. So whenever I was doing research into college, I didn't even consider communications, which is like a weird thing to think about now that I'm in there. But I was like, oh yeah, like I've heard communications is bad, like I shouldn't do it. And like I wish I would have, because that would have made my process so much easier. I would have felt so much like more content and happy, and like whenever I was applying to colleges, if I had just done that little bit more research, because I just would look up lists of majors, but then nothing had stuff like the communication school at UT has. So I kind of wish I would have looked into that sooner, because then I may have been able to kind of find similar majors at other colleges. And while I'm incredibly happy at UT, maybe I could have gotten like more scholarship offers or like into other schools under these majors, and who knows what would have gone from there. And then if you really don't know what major to go into, kind of start eliminating majors by knowing what you don't like, because it's kind of like a reverse thing, but knowing what you don't like can lead you to what you do like. So for example, whenever I looked at the list of majors at UT trying to decide what I wanted to do, I would just go college by college. I was like, okay, engineering, I don't want anything in that. Natural sciences, don't want to do that. Geosciences, not my thing. Education, I don't think so. And so once I started doing that, I ended up with a few degrees in the liberal arts school that I was interested in, several in the communication school, and a few in the College of Fine Arts. And then from there, I was able to like pick apart and figure out what I liked in each of those majors, and that made the process so much easier in picking out my final major. So if you don't know what you do like, make sure you know what you don't like, and just be honest with yourself. That's like another giant tip. Like, be honest with yourself. Don't kind of try to put up like what you want to be. Like, actually like know who you are. And then last small tip, make a pros and cons list, because if you just list a few simple things like yes, no, it's like easy to see which ones really stand out as pros and which ones really stand out as cons. And if the cons outweigh the pros, eliminate that major, because you probably won't be as happy in it. And my last tip, do what makes you happy above all else. You can forget all these other tips if you want to, like, please don't, but if you want to, or if you don't like a certain one or something like that, like, that's okay. But though, if there's one takeaway, do what makes you happy, because ultimately this is your life, this is your major. The skills that you learn in college and in your major are going to apply to your future and everything that you do, and you learn so much. So just make sure whatever you're doing, you're passionate about and it makes you happy. So I guess those are all my tips. I know this video is kind of long, so if you're still watching, thank you. But in conclusion, I hope this video helped you, even if it was just a little bit. If you're unsure, don't stress, because I stressed so much. And you will be fine. You will find a major. You will get, like, the help that you need from your college, or I don't know, like, reach out to me. I can kind of help you through the process. I've helped a few people find their major just throughout my job as an orientation advisor. So yeah, just use your resources and don't stress out. So also, if you have any questions or comments, make sure that you just put them below. If you message me, I'll do my best to respond. I do have all my social medias linked in the description, so feel free to shoot me a message on Instagram or Twitter. And then, so yeah, if you like this video, make sure to like it and subscribe for similar content. If you want any more videos like this, make sure to let me know by leaving a comment down below. If you like college videos, also let me know. I would love to do more of these. I like talking about college a lot, just because I've, like, been through it and I feel like I can help. But yeah, so make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye.